Welcome, Warren.
Hi, Tricia.
This is Warren Denley, and he's going to talk to us today about dealing with do-it-yourself clients. And I know Warren from when I used to live in Melbourne. Is it nice and sunny in Melbourne today?
No, not really. It was actually 1 degree this morning where we are, and it was actually -1 in the city. So, yeah, the sun might be out, but it
Oh,
hasn't got any heat in it.
all right. Well, I'll hand it over to you, and we'll
Thanks,
get straight
Tricia.
into it.
All right. Hi, everyone. Hope you've been having a good time with Genesis Camp so far. As Tricia said, I'm going to talk about it's sort of more a discussion about our journey with servicing DIY clients. And hopefully there's something there that you guys can learn if that's the end of the market that you choose to play in as well. I'm going to just switch over to my slides. Oops, go to screen share. Right, have we got my screen yet, Tricia? I can still see you in the background. Where are we? If someone can just let me know when they can see my slides. I'll have to. In fact, Tricia, if you can just give me a quick voice check, because now that I'm on my slides, I can't see the questions. So someone can just tell me that my slides are up and we can get moving.
Yeah, I think we're all working good.
Okay, great. Yeah, I just wanted to check because like I've been using Hangouts for a while myself, and one thing I have learnt from doing that is that it's always best to check that everyone can see you before you start chattering away, and then you suddenly get a question come through the box that, well, hang on a second, what's going on? Now, I'm quite happy to take questions throughout the presentation, but now that I'm in full screen mode with my slides, I can't actually see the chat box. So, Tricia, if there's anything urgent that comes through, just jump on and quickly let me know. Otherwise, we'll get back to the questions towards the end of the talk. Okay,
Will do.
so who's this talk for? Well, I've basically developed this with a few groups of people in mind. The first and foremost is designers and developers that are just starting out. Generally what we find is when we start out, there's more of a feeling that we need to take on just about any client that walks through the door. And sometimes that can land us in a little bit of trouble, and sometimes it can lead to a heck of a lot of frustration. So what I want to do as part of this talk is basically give you some of those experiences that we've had over the last 4 or 5 years that we've been doing this, and hopefully cut down some of your learning time and cut out some of the frustration for you. It's also for those that are really passionate about helping new businesses, which just happens to be the end of the market that we're really passionate about. We never really wanted to go into the high-end websites. Now I know, there's a lot more money in that end of the market, and in my day job, that's really the sort of client I've been dealing with, is the big-end corporate clients there, which have lots of money to throw at a website, which have a clearer idea of how they're going to run a project and all those sorts of things. But when it comes to doing websites, that's just not where my passion lies. I'm much more passionate about those people that are just starting out in business and really need a leg up to get their business rolling, and they know they need a website. They really don't have much of a clue what else they need beyond that. They know they need to get online, and so they're looking for someone who can actually help them. And what really got me fired up about this end of the market, I guess, is that because they don't know really much about it, they tend to get taken advantage of a bit. And I'm not saying that all web designers or web developers are unscrupulous, far from it, but there are a number out there that will charge a lot of money and not really deliver anything. And we just got sick of seeing this with the clients that are coming to us and said to pay $2, $5, even more $1,000 for a website. And at the end of the day, they've got this thing that doesn't even work, let alone do anything that they're wanting it to do for them. So, we were really, really passionate about helping these people out and making sure they got online the right way, right from the start. The other group of people that I've sort of designed this presentation with in mind is people who are just starting out in business. So, if this is you, I'm not trying to have a go at you with some of this that comes down in the later slides. You'll see that, I'll go through some of the issues that we found with working with this sort of client, and it's not done to make you feel bad about yourself if you're in this category. It's actually there to open your eyes that, there's things you just don't know. So because we've dealt with a lot of these sort of people, we can actually help people who are in that category start to realize that they've just got to open to a bigger picture and think about the website as part of their business, not as this little entity all by itself over in the corner. Now, before I move on, I will say that there is one group of people who this presentation is not for, and that's if you're the sort of person that loves a flashy slideshow, then this is definitely not for you. What you see in front of you here, this is basically how all my slides are. It's not a bad show, that's for sure. It's really about just digging into the content as we go. All right, with that said, what will we cover? I want to go through what I really mean by DIY clients, because what I mean when I talk about DIY clients is probably not the traditional definition of someone who really, really wants to do it all themselves. So I'll expand on that in a minute. I want to go through the types of DIY clients. There's a number of reasons why people fall into this category. And certainly the bulk of the presentation will be looking at both the biggest challenges with working with this sort of client and also the lessons that we've learned over the years of working with these sorts of clients. So, who are we and why are we here, or why am I here giving this presentation? We started a little company called DIY Website Coach back in 2011. And this really come out of a course I attended where it had a massive promise and it didn't deliver on it. The promise was that they would teach everyone there to make money online. And they packed, I don't know, there must have been 700 people into a room for, I think it was a 5-day course, 5 long days. And they went through all of these bits and pieces with a view to setting up an online business that was going to make you a lot of money and you'll never have to work again. And really, when we looked at it, it delivered nothing, to be quite honest. And I thought it was really overpriced and it was really... I don't want to be too critical of it, but basically I don't think people got value for money. And at the end of it, they were pushing people into their own WordPress-based platform that they'd developed that they were charging people quite a substantial fee per month for. And again, really not delivering anything for that. And at that stage, I'd already been playing around with WordPress for myself, and my wife and I had been building a few sites here and there. And I looked at what they delivered and I just went, you know what, this is wrong. They're charging people way too much, they're delivering way too little, I can do this better. So we started DIY Website Coach, and the aim was to basically help people understand that doing it themselves on a self-hosted WordPress platform could deliver them the business benefits that they really needed. And that's where we started. So we originally started with the idea of being a training company. The plan was we were going to develop training courses, we were going to have tutorials on our site, we were going to find the clients that wanted to do it themselves and we were going to train them. And to be honest, that's how it started out. A few people here and there I trained individually. We looked at running a group training, but we just didn't quite get the numbers for it, so we just ticked along with a few personal one-on-one trainings here and there. And at that stage I was working a full-time job, so it wasn't like it was my only source of income. I didn't push it too hard. It was more just a passion project. We then started planning out our first online course and thinking about what was it that we would want to train as part of that course and who would we want to pitch it to. And to be quite honest, we really thought ourselves all the way out of the idea. We just really overcomplicated it, and in the end it never got legs and it didn't get off the ground. But what we did find as we were working our way through teaching one-on-one and we had a lot of people that were starting to come to us because we were active in Facebook forums and different areas, and people were starting to get to know that we were pretty cluey with what we were doing. And so people started coming to us not to build them sites, but to actually, they came to us originally with, oh, my site's broken, can you fix it? And we built quite a reputation out of fixing sites for people and doing it quite quickly. And then, yes, we started, the people that we fixed stuff for, we started training them, and then out of the training they started saying, well, that's great, and I really like that I can manage it myself, but I don't want to build it myself, can you just do it for us? So we started building a few sites, which was, fine, a bit of extra income, we liked it, that was good, but what we found was, word was starting to spread and we got more and more of these. And then as we started to get serious about trying to transition from a full-time job to actually working a business, because that was doing well and it was earning us reasonable money, we started doing more and more of that. And we really got away from our core passion of teaching, and we got more into the building. Not to say we didn't enjoy it, but we sort of went where the money was rather than going where our passion was. And that's part of some of the issues we come up with later, I guess. But what we've found lately is, yes, our passion really is around training people. And we released our first online course earlier this year. And, it did fairly well given the size of our list. We got a good take-up. And certainly the people that went through it were really, really happy with the training. They really loved it. They raved about it. And it really reignited our passion for training. So that's where we're heading back into. Not to say we won't continue to do sites for people here and there, but really we're going back down that training path so we can really focus on that end of the market that we are passionate about again. So what am I talking about when I'm talking about a DIY client in this sense? To me, it's someone who's just starting out. So this is their first site. Okay, and because it's their first site, they're probably a lot more hands-on with it. They're very invested in it emotionally. Pardon me. It's the sort of thing that it's quite possibly a hobby that they're trying to turn into a business, or they're just very nervous about the whole thing. So they're often not well informed, and what I mean by this is they've probably never worked with websites before. Someone's told them that they need a website for their business. They may have even had some advice about what that should look like, about how it should be structured. They may not have got that information from a web designer or stuff. Maybe they got it from the cabbie, which is the standard. Don't take your advice from cabbie line. But often it's from their friends, or it's from people who've done a course and have somehow cobbled a site together or got bad information from somewhere and then passed it on because it actually sort of works, but it's not ideal. Yeah, so the types of DIY clients, I guess, for me they fall into a couple of buckets. We've really got the hobbyist, and to me the hobbyist is the sort of person who, this is not their business. This is not going to be the major money generator for them. This is something they're doing on the side because they like it and because they might try and turn it into a business one day, but at the moment it's just a hobby. So they just want a site that helps them have a creative outlet, I guess. Then you've got those that are starting a business and actually trying to do this as a business, but they've got little or no money to make it happen. And so because they've got little or no money, they've really got no choice but to do the thing themselves. Or if they are going to get someone to do the site for them, they're going to expect a very low cost, and they're going to expect probably more of an output than goes with that cost, to be honest. But anyway, they're really trying to keep things on a tight budget. Then you've got the sort of people who, again, are starting out, but they're not really clear on their business. Now, these may be people that have money to spend, but because they're not 100% clear on who they're serving, what they're offering, etc., they really don't want to spend a lot on a site right now. They want to just get online, get out there, start testing the market, start getting their message out and seeing who lines up behind them, and then really taking the feedback from their tribe and honing their business and getting clear on it before they then go and invest their money in a really good website. And to be honest, these are the best of the people to work with. These are the ones who know that that first site doesn't have to be perfect. They're the ones that know that there's a process involved here of discovery. They're the ones that are happy to put something out there quickly and just test the market rather than have to get everything 100% perfect before they launch, only to find that there's no one on the other end listening to them anyway. And then there's the other type of person who, even though they may be able to afford it, they really want to just retain full control themselves. We've found that there's a really big segment of the market that are control freaks, for want of a better word, and that's not a bad thing. That is just they really, really do want to do it themselves. There's also, we've found through our training, there's a number of people who might be scared to take this on initially themselves, but once they get the right training, they actually get really, really excited about the fact that they can do it themselves. So sometimes it's just a matter of helping them along that journey before they really realise, wow, this is fun and I really want to do it. All right, so what are the major challenges that we've found working with this sort of client who is just starting out? The biggest one we found is there tends to be a lot of unrealistic expectations. And again, this sort of comes from the fact that a lot of them are not really well informed. A lot of them have, spent $2,000 on a business course that teaches them how to do an online business and all the things they need to know around structuring packages and reaching clients and all that sort of thing. But the course just says, oh, and you need a website, and sort of sets the expectation that that's a really cheap thing to do and it's a really easy thing to do. I know you don't really have to worry about it. Just go and get yourself a $500 website. But then look at the website of the person that is delivering the course, and of course it's got all the bells and whistles and it's shiny and bright and it's got the beautiful graphics, and so they get this unrealistic link that, well, I'm being told to spend $500 on a website, so this person's probably done that, but look at their site, it's beautiful, isn't it? So when they come to you, they've got this small budget and massive site that they want, and sometimes it's hard to get through to them that no, they don't go together. The $500 site is the starting out site. It won't have all those bells and whistles. You'll work your way up to that as you get better. There's also, I call it scope creep, but really what it boils down to is because they're not sure what they want, it often happens that as you start delivering something for them to look at, they go, oh, that's great, now can I do this, and I want this, and I've seen someone else's site that has this, that, and the other. So, again, because they're not used to dealing with projects and having specific bounds on it, you've really got to manage them well, otherwise they just won't know into the project. Then we've got the people who, for whatever reason, say, I just want it done this way. And again, this might be because they've been misinformed by someone else, or they've seen someone do it a particular way and they go, yep, that works, so I'm going to do it that way. Or it could be just because they think they know better. And we've had a few of those too, don't worry. But in most cases it is because they just don't know any better. And someone said to them, oh, you want to sell stuff online, so you definitely need WooCommerce. Even though they're only selling one service or two services or something, and that's just way overkill. In fact, we had someone come to us a couple of years ago who wanted, they listed out everything they wanted on their site, and they said, I want WooCommerce installed, and I want wishlist member installed, so I want WooCommerce to take the payment and then put them into wishlist, and then I want the site built out in the back end in optimized press. And you look at it and you go, well, hang on a second, why do you want all of this complication on there? And you have to, when you're dealing with these people, you have to really strip it back to what is it that you need to achieve. Okay, let's look at what your desired outcome is first, and then we'll work our way back to how is the best way to implement it. And when we've done that with clients that have come to us and said, oh, I just want X, Y, and Z installed, 9 times out of 10 they look at you and they go, wow, no one ever told me that there was a better way to do it. So, it can be scary to say to them, no, that's not the way to do it sometimes, but you'll find that you'll really, you'll make a bigger impact and you'll get a better result anyway. The other challenge is, what happens after delivery? And we tend to find that this can fall into two areas. One is that nothing happens after delivery. And it's quite frustrating to, put all your time and effort into building this site for someone, thinking that they're going to make this great business out of it, and you come back in 6 months' time and there's not even another single blog post on there. And, if you look at the back end, you'll probably find that they haven't changed passwords, and that they haven't, done any updates since the site was delivered. And you know what that's like after 6 months. Pardon me, they're just opening themselves up to be hacked. So, yeah, really frustrating if people don't do anything with the site. And then there are the other ones that take it and just, don't know that destroy is the right word. Obviously, they think they're doing the best they can, but these ones that pick it up and they start playing in the visual editor and adding all sorts of fonts and sizes and colors and basically destroying the design of the site overall, because they want to put all of these fancy stuff into the pages. So, what are some of the lessons that we've learned over the years of dealing with these clients? One of the biggest ones we learned along the way there is that upfront tasking will help sort out, who are going to be the good clients from who are going to be the ones that you have to handhold a little bit more. And what I mean by this, pardon me, we all have problems with getting content from clients. So what we've started to do is basically add this as an upfront task and say, okay, we'll take you on, but here's the things we need from you before we will even schedule you in for building your site. And basically, depending on how responsive they are with getting their content to us, we will know that either, yep, these guys are going to be a dream to deal with because they get it done when they say they get it done, or this is going to drag out for a long time. And depending on how things go, this may even be a point where you want to cut your losses and just say, you know what, I don't think we're going to work well together here. That sort of leads into the next one, which is clear communication. We've been guilty of this along the way where we have sort of signed a client up and then not much has happened. We're waiting for them or they're waiting for us, or there's been big periods where there's been no emails back and forth at all. And then in a couple of cases, the client's sort of gone, well, hang on, are you still there? And yeah, we're still here, but we're waiting for you. Oh, I didn't know you were waiting for us. So, one of the things that we've tried to implement is that we have regular communication with the client, even if nothing is going on. So even if it's a matter of we've tasked them with delivering some content, they haven't got back to us, at least once a week we will send them an email and say, this is where we are, this is what we're waiting for from you, this is what we're going to do next. If you get the stuff now, we can do it at this time. Other than that, if you're going to take longer than that, let us know and we'll have to reschedule everything. And we've just found that with that level of communication, we get a lot better outcome. We have a lot happier clients. They know where they're at. They also don't lose sight of the fact that we're actually working on them to do some stuff. And as I said before, don't be afraid to ask for a refund. Sometimes, despite your best intentions, despite the clearest copy on your site saying what you do and don't include, despite the clear communication with them all along the way, it gets to a point where it's clear that they've obviously got something in their mind that is way different to what you're thinking you're delivering. And we had this a couple of times. We've changed our packages a number of times over the years, trying to just find the sweet spot in the market. And it didn't matter where we positioned it, we would always find someone who thought that they were getting a heck of a lot more than what they were getting. We were trying to deliver starter sites to get people online and moving, but in a way that they still had their email linked in and all the basics that they needed for building a business. But we had people that would look at that and still think that they were getting this fully customized, fully tricked out site. And it, even though we had had a discovery session with them. We said what we would do. We said what we wouldn't do. We still found that as soon as they signed up, pardon me, they were sending us emails and saying, oh, and I'd like this, and when you go to do this piece, add this in. And it's like, but no, that's outside the scope of what we're doing. And so we ended up having a conversation, and it was clear that there was a disconnect there between what they thought they were getting and what we thought we had signed them up for. We said, look, we don't think that this is going to work. We don't think we're going to be able to deliver the sites you want for the budget that you've given us. I think it's best we go our separate ways. And we refunded them, and they seemed relatively happy about that. I think they wish they had got the site that they were wanting for. To be honest, I never found out whether they did get the site they were looking for, but I know that had we continued to do the site, we would have got massively frustrated because it wasn't made for us. They would have got massively frustrated because they weren't getting what they thought they should be getting, and it's just not worth that sort of stress in your business. The other thing is you need to learn to say no. And again, this is sort of linked in with the other ones, but you need to have that chat with people before you take them on and look at whether you're going to be a good fit or not. Because this at the end of the day is a person-to-person business. We're dealing with people on the other end, especially at this end of the market, and you're going to be working pretty closely with them for the next 3 or 4 weeks or however long it takes to deliver, depending on how quick they get stuff. And you want to know that that's actually going to be fun. You don't want to be like dreading every conversation you have with this client. So if the fit's not there, whether it be that they're looking for too much or whether it's just a personality clash, just say no. There is plenty more clients out there. I know it's very tempting when you're starting out in business and you're trying to build a business that you think you need to have to take everyone that comes along. But let me tell you, we've been through that, and it's not worth it. You end up just driving yourself insane. And the other thing that we did find is the minute we started saying no to some clients, we actually got a better caliber of clients approaching us. So it's amazing. I don't know what power you believe in, but I do believe in a higher power. And it was like we were saying, no, we're not going to do that. And that higher power said, okay, well, if you're not going to do that, here, have some of these. So, yeah, you need to trust and just say no. And again, you need to hold boundaries with the client. So if they're starting to, just try and stretch for more and more and more and more, there's got to come a point where you say, you know what, that's not part of the package that we sign up to. Here is the package that we signed up to. Here is what we've delivered against that. It's all done, dusted. Let's sign the project off. And sure, if you want other things done, we can talk about that and we can do additional later. But this is the package and it's done. The other thing that we've found, pardon me, is that providing ongoing support is great. And this is from a number of perspectives. One, it gives you some recurring revenue going forward, so you don't have to find as many new clients all the time just to survive. The other thing is it makes the client feel much, much happier and supported. So they know that they're not being left on their own and have to manage everything, and they sort of go into a panic. Now, right from the start, we always delivered our sites with video user manuals or some sort of training in the dashboard, so they knew how to actually, well, if they watched the videos, they would know how to manage their site. But we still found that either people weren't watching that, or for some reason they weren't comfortable doing it themselves, and we would get people coming back and saying, oh, can you just do this for me, or can you just show me how to do this? And again, this goes back to the the boundaries and the saying no. We used to just do it. And then we got to a point where we went, so much time is being chewed up with this. We really need to start saying no or putting a cost on that. And if people didn't know up front that was going to cost them, then they started to get a little upset. So, this is where having a maintenance package, and basically everyone that goes through and gets a site from you gets told about this maintenance package and what it includes and that they really should be on it. can really help both you and them. The other thing that we had to learn along the way was really we just need to let go of the result. And this sort of gets back to, once you hand the site over, these sort of clients will do with it what they do with it. So, if you get too attached to the website and you get too attached to what it looks like, and someone goes and does something to you don't like, it's like, oh, why'd they do that? And you feel really, well, we did anyway. We felt really let down. We felt really deflated that we put so much effort into this, and it doesn't look anything like what we delivered. And it's a hard one. But it really is something that if you hang on to it too tightly, it's going to just drain your energy, and you're not going to be able to service the new clients that come along. So, do your best, get it out there, do your best to help the client as they go forward and make sure that they know what they're doing and give them the training and whatnot. But at the end of the day, it is their website, and being the first one, they are probably going to experiment with a bit. So you just need to learn to live with that. And the sooner you do, the sooner you can use your energy and move on to something else. And the biggest lesson that we've learned over the years is that you really, really, really need to stick with your passion. Okay, as I said, we started out with a passion to train people, and we got sidetracked by probably chasing the money more than anything. I know that fate sort of directed us down the path of making sites for people, and it was sort of a natural progression originally. But then, like I said, when we got serious about trying to make this a business that would support us, then we chased the sites because we thought that's where the money is. And look, by all accounts, we had a fairly successful business doing that. We were earning sort of more than the average business, to be honest, but when you're used to a high-paying corporate job, it still didn't quite cut it. And so we got to a point where we were frustrated because it wasn't really what we were passionate about, and it wasn't really giving us the sort of money that we wanted either. So it wasn't winning on either front. So when we pulled back and we had a look at that, and we went, no, we're really passionate about the actual training, and we went and we put that training in place, then all of a sudden I was fired up again, and I was really, really enjoying the training, and I was in flow again, which was fantastic. So, pardon me, just, you need to go with what your passion is. If your passion is building sites, then build sites. If your passion is training, then train. There's plenty of clients no matter which way you go, but yeah, the biggest thing is go with your passion. And that's it for the training. So I'm just going to switch back and we'll answer some questions here. So I'll just stop sharing my screen. And I should be back. Hey Tricia, you still there?
Yes,
so
I
if
am.
there's any questions, I'm happy to field any and all questions at this point.
All right.
Chat box up here.
Yep, we don't have many questions, but I have a question for you.
Yep, sure.
It came up that it could be quite awkward having like the refund conversation and scope free conversations. How do you deal with that, especially if you're friends with the client?
Yeah, it can be quite awkward. I think the best way to deal with it is just honesty. I've had the conversation twice now, to be honest, and the first time it was gut-wrenching, and I felt really bad for saying, look, we're not going to be able to help you, I don't think. But I think part of me would have felt worse had I continued to go on knowing that it wasn't going to work. So, it was really just, okay, look, here's where I think you're coming from. Here's where I think we're coming from. There's a disconnect there, and I don't think we're doing either of us service by continuing with this relationship. No bad feelings or anything, and I think that's the biggest thing. Don't make it emotional. try and just stick to the facts if you can, but basically say, you know, I don't think we can work together. And as long as you're honest, well, both times it's gone down pretty well, to be honest. And obviously, you know, it's never good when it gets to that point, but it's much better to walk away amicably than it is to continue on and continue to get more and more frustrated. Because, like, if you try and push through that, I don't think you're ever going to be, you're never going to deliver something that they're going to be completely happy with. And you're not going to be happy because you feel like either you're being taken advantage of or that it's, you know, it's just not working for you for whatever. So I think it's best to cut the energy ties and just say, look, there is someone out there that can service you, but in this particular case, that's not me.
Right. And have you changed your contract along the way to handle this kind of thing?
To be honest, we've never used contracts.
No.
Yes, I know, that sounds strange, doesn't it? I think mainly because the end of the market we're dealing with probably isn't used to contracts, and we're probably dealing with simpler services than like a full-blown custom-designed website. So our sales page is pretty clear on what's in and what's not in, and we also have a discovery session as the first part of the process as well. So basically, I'm going to talk one-on-one with the person and really get a feel for what is it that they're trying to achieve with the site and work out whether our package is actually going to help them get there or not. And like I said, I've got better at saying no along the way now. So out of that discovery session, it's pretty clear that yes, we can help you get to where you're going right now, and yes, you understand what's going on. And once we've got to that, we rarely have any problems thereafter. But again, it's all that was one of the learnings we put in, I guess, is we use a discovery session rather than a contract to work out whether we're going to work together. Yeah, we used to just do, yeah, come here, sign up, and then we'll start the process, and that's when we were having the disconnect on what they were expecting versus what we were offering. Once the discovery session got put in there, that went away, and we've really been pretty right from there on out.
Okay, is that a paid discovery or is it before you get paid?
We've tried it both ways, to be honest. I think it works better before they pay, mainly because then we don't have to worry about refunds if things aren't going to work out. So I know it sounds a little scary giving so much time away without being paid, but to be honest, I think out of all the discovery sessions, we've probably had maybe 2 or 3 tops where I said, you know what, I don't think we can work together. So pretty well by the time they get to that point, you know, they're committed enough that they'll go through it, and you know, I know that I can help most people in that space. I just need to get a feel for where they're at and then show them how we can match what we've got to help them get there. So yeah, it hasn't been a lot of work for nothing that people might be scared it might be.
Great. If people have any more questions, how can they contact you?
Yep, we're on Facebook at the moment, so DIY Website Coach. As I said, we're rebranding at the moment, but that's still our main point. I do occasionally pop onto Twitter at Warren Denley, but that's probably not the best way. Other than that, through our website and the contact form there is the best. So DIYWebsiteCoach.com. That contact form will get to us, and we'll get back to you.
Great. Thank you so much for sharing this with us, Warren.
Thanks, Tricia. It's been fun.
Thank you. Next up, we have Heather Porter, and we'll see you back here in about 20 minutes. And hopefully we'll learn a lot more. Thank you, guys.
Ciao.
Bye.